Get out! For those soldiers who come home wounded, it's often not easy to get around. Here's the story of one man who decided to do something about that.
My own experience is the genesis of this operation. I was a combat helicopter pilot in Vietnam. I was wounded by shrapnel from a rocket that exploded outside my helicopter, and medevaced home and spent 6 months in a hospital a long ways from home. Remember it to this day.
Walt Fricke wanted to do something to make things easier for this generation of wounded warriors, so he started the Veterans Airlift Command.
As I began to noodle the idea, it got out of hand and it turned into a national program, and I've recruited now some 1,500 aircraft owners and pilots that do the same thing all over the country.
Sit down.
Sergeant First Class Michael Schlitz was horribly wounded while on a mission in Baghdad during the peak of violence in 2007.
Basically, they hit my vehicle. When the rounds penetrated my vehicle, it just sprayed everything with that propane. Now for me, I was actually thrown from the vehicle. And I remember hearing the boom, having some choice words going through my mind, but before I could even get them out of my mind, I was already hitting the ground. And I remember hitting the ground and looking up and seeing my vehicle. I didn't see any movement. I didn't see my guys, and I didn't see the vehicle on fire or anything, and I just kind of laid there burning.
The closure that these guys get, seeing their buddies, that's their family. That's our family. In combat, you serve with your brothers. I mean, you see them, rejoin with their unit and become whole over a weekend. That's big stuff.
You have to, find your own way to accept the injuries, and I was having some troubles accepting the injuries. Just a loss of hands alone, it's like, that's devastating.
For Mike to see him go back and see his buddies, and for them to look in his eyes, he's the same guy. They looked in his eyes and they saw the same guy.
It was allowing me to let them know that I was still the same guy, that I was doing all right, that I wasn't quitting, and that I'm still around.
You watch him in the last couple of years, what's happened to him. It's a tremendous part of his healing to have closed that loop.
The volunteer pilots with the Veterans Airlift Command understand this, and they're donating their time and their resources to be a part of that healing.
They're wounded because they were defending us and our freedoms. And anything I can give back, I want to do.
The war's not over. People need to know what Walt's doing so that we can continue this operation. He's a savior in a lot of aspects. Without Veterans Airlift Command, I couldn't have done it.
You must have a unique perspective on this, because you're from the only real conflict, I think, that really just disgracefully treated our returning veterans. Just appalling what happened in Vietnam. Do you feel that on some level, by helping these guys come home, you're helping yourself come home? Is there any?
Oh, sure. In fact, you hit a nerve.
Yeah. That's why you do it, isn't it? I mean, you're giving these guys the welcome that you guys should have had and didn't get.
Good job. You got me. That's exactly right. It's tremendously healing for guys of our vintage to help these young guys. You go look at the hospitals, the military hospitals, and see who's there taking care of these guys. It's Vietnam vets.
All of them. Everybody I talk to. Everybody I talk to.
I think you hit on it. You hit the nail right on the head. It's part of our welcome home. We're not going to let this happen to another generation.
Right.